makers of America's best-known brand of canned and frozen poultry, presents the exciting television game, The Name's the Same. Now let's meet our panel of famous names. Co-author of the Broadway hit Guys and Dolls, Abe Burrows. And your host and moderator, another famous name, Robert Hugh Lewis.
Hi there, and welcome to The Name's the Same. Tonight, once again, you're going to meet some people who have very...
Hello, and welcome to another episode of This, That, the Other, and that was the intro to a game show that started out in 1952, went on throughout the 1950s, called The Name's the Same. Sponsor was C.A. Swanson and Sons. I remember hearing that, and I remember as a kid, my mother used to sometimes buy the pot pies and the TV dinners made by Swanson. I remember reading those as a kid. I was not a big fan of the pot pies, but some of the TV dinners were not bad at all. And the TV dinners were eventually, the TV dinner business was eventually absorbed by ConAgra, and the broth business was absorbed by Campbell's Food. Little background on what I could find on C.A. Swanson and Sons. I'm going to read a paragraph from the internet. Carly Swanson, 1879-1949, was a Swedish immigrant who worked on a farm in Blair, Nebraska, until he moved to Omaha. He worked in a grocery store where he came in contact with John A. Jerp, who owned a small commission company in which Swanson would become a partner in 1899. Initially, the Jerp Commission Company purchased eggs and cream from local farmers. In turn, they processed the eggs, made butter from the cream, and sold these products to distributors and charged a commission to the farmers. With Swanson as partner in the company, it began to expand. Jerp Commission Company began to sell chicken, turkey, and other meat. Swanson would eventually buy the company from Jerp and rename it C.A. Swanson and Sons, as his sons Gilbert and Clark had joined the business. During World War II, life changed dramatically. Men were sent to fight in the war, so women were brought into the workforce, and a lot of times they didn't have as much time to prepare meals, so these TV dinners came out, and it was very convenient. They could heat them in the oven, and it saved a lot of work, a lot of time. Carl Swanson died in 1949. His sons Gilbert and C. and W. Clark took over after World War II. Jerp changed to C.A. Swanson Sons. 1950, chicken and turkey pot pies were introduced. Then they were prepared in aluminum trays. A Swanson executive met with a company that specialized in preparing food for airlines, and he found out that they had these trays, these aluminum trays that had compartments of like an entree and then a couple of side dishes, and they were heated in a conventional oven, and they were made to prepare for people eating while they're flying on the airplane. And he presented the idea to the Swanson Sons, and they came up with the turkey dinners. They had a dinner. It had 3 compartments. That's what he suggested the Sons about doing. So they had the entree, and then they had 2 side dishes. Later on, they added the chicken and beef entrees as well. 1953, they sold 5,000 units when introduced. A year later, it sold over 10 million. April 1955, Swanson was acquired by Campbell's Soup Company. By 1956, Swanson sold 13 million annually. By the 1970s, increasing number of homes became 2-income families. People's also taste in foods changed. People wanted healthier foods to eat, and they were more interested in international foods as well, foods with an international taste to it. Swanson was very slow about changing that, and people also wanted meals that you could microwave. Well, Swanson had the aluminum trays, so you obviously couldn't microwave those. And Swanson was very slow to change from their aluminum trays. They finally came up with a line called entrees called Le Menu, which featured more sophisticated menus on undivided plastic microwavable plates with lids. By then, the company was competing with many strong brands such as Stouffer. Stouffer's had begun targeting the diet market with its reducing calorie lean cuisine frozen meal line. Swanson trailed behind these developments. And I'm going to read one more paragraph off the internet. March 1998, Campbell's Soup spun off the Swanson frozen brand meal business along with several other brands, including Vlasic, to a company called Vlasic Foods International. The company was rebranded Pinnacle Foods in 2001, and the spin-off Campbell's Soup granted Pinnacle a 10-year license to use the Swanson brand name on frozen meals and pot pies. That agreement expired in mid-2009, just before Pinnacle purchased Bird's Eye Foods. Pinnacle continued to produce frozen meals, but it discontinued the use of Swanson name in favor of Hungry Man brand. However, it remained in use for pot pies. Swanson's frozen breakfast line was rebranded Aunt Jemima several years before. June 27th, 2018, ConAgra Brands announced the acquisition of Pinnacle Foods for $8.1 billion. The acquisition closed on October 26, 2018. So it wasn't until actually then that ConAgra had taken over Swanson as well. It's owned the banquet frozen foods for years, and it also took over Swanson. I mean, those the two basic companies that are known for the TV dinners. Swanson Banquet. I don't know any others offhand. Of course, I have not bought a TV dinner in years, but I do remember in the 1970s when those Hungry Man TV dinners were introduced. They had some commercials that had Mean Joe Green with other sports stars as well, and also C.A. Swanson was one of the sponsors of the game show hosted by Robert Q. Lewis called The Name's the Same, and it alternated weeks with 1 week C.A. Swanson and Sons would be the sponsor. Next week they would rotate with Bendix Corporation the following week, and for a while, and then it was C.A. Swanson rotating with Johnson's wax products, and C.A. Swanson was the sponsor for a lot of the time. Name's the Same was on the air. And here's a little ending to the Name's the Same.
You did very well. Okay. So on, folks, for Bendix washers, dryers, and ironers. The panel and I will see you again next week on The Name's the Same, which will be brought to you by C.A. Swanson and Sons.
Friend, if your favorite part of chicken is dark meat, try Swanson.
And that was part of a commercial that at the very end that they did for the show, and that's what I was able to find out on the Name's the Same. I had not really realized that the Swanson name was not on the Hungry Man dinners anymore. I had not realized that they had changed the name to Hungry Man. But like I said, I have not bought any of those frozen foods in years. So I really don't know how they taste now. If they taste like they did before. Not sure. I can't answer that one. Maybe some of you all that buy these things could let me know if they still taste as good. I thought that some of the TV dinners from Swanson were pretty good back in the 70s. The what did they have? They had the hamburgers. I think hamburger steak or some kind of meat that had gravy on it. It was kind of like hamburger meat. I remember that. They had fish and chips, fried chicken, turkey and gravy. That was pretty good. Dressing, that was probably my favorite of the Swanson products. And I know I think there's country fried chicken as well. I know there's various ones. I remember too, this Swanson also, they had like a fifth compartment or a fourth compartment later added on. You had the entree, and then you had like sometimes mashed potatoes, sometimes peas and carrots, sometimes peas, sometimes green beans, and you'd have like a dessert item too, like an apple thing or a brownie. I remember that. I remember a lot of times when you would heat the dinner, I believe you would open the brownie part and keep the other part covered other items covered while you were heating it, I believe, if I remember right. But let me know what you all think of the TV dinners now, if you feel that they're as good as what they were, or if they've gone down in quality. And with that being said, looking for more ideas on what to do shows on, please let me know if it's feasible. I will research it and base a show on it. As always, like, subscribe, share. Thanks for watching.